Welcome to the Today's Leader Podcast, a podcast for the leaders and entrepreneurs of today, building better leadership today to forge the path of success for tomorrow. Here's our host, Tony, Coach Curl.
Way to go, guys. Way to go. Keep it going. Good job, guys. All right, Paul. I see you. All right, Travel. Finish on. Coach Curl.
Great job, guys.
Hey there, it's Coach Curl here, and welcome to episode 291 of the Today's Leader podcast. Today we're talking about emotions at work. And one of the key reasons why I want to talk about emotions from work is because at the end of the day, we are all humans. We are all humans. And we all have this concept of feelings and emotions. It's something that's internalized. It's something that's part of our very DNA. So, and often we get a bit of an ambiguous message in relation to the concepts around things like emotional intelligence. And many of us have started to believe that emotions at work or feelings at work are actually things that we should not be having. And this creates a little bit of a mixed feeling for us and a bit of a confused space. Because we're being told that we keep our work problems and our home problems in many ways totally separate, which ends up in many cases making a lot of people feel like they can't bring who they are. They can't bring their feelings to work. And there is a degree of truth in that. You know, the last thing that you would want is someone unloading all their problems, all their emotions, all their feelings on you on a daily basis. That would be incredibly draining. But there are ways in which we can deal with this. There are ways and there are strategies in how we can conquer, how we can regulate, how we can master our emotions in a way that's positive, constructive, and still allows us to be authentic. Because the reality is that feelings are going to be inevitable at work. And it's just like any situation in life. You're going to experience feelings and emotions. And you're going to experience those feelings and emotions in everything that you do. And work is just one component of what our full lives are. Now, the reality is you can't always act on them. But you can embrace them and you can acknowledge them. And we can dive into some strategies on how we can express them. And so today I just want to share 3 really quick strategies that will give you the foundation for dealing effectively with your emotions and feelings at work. So 3 simple little tips that you can take on board to help you really define who you are within the workplace by being able to be a master of your own emotions. Now, one of the key areas where our emotions and our feelings can really hijack us is when it comes to things like rumours, gossip, innuendo, perception. So the first tip that I'm going to share is one about we call go directly to the source. So if you do need to have a difficult or an uncomfortable conversation with anybody, the best bet is to go to the source. The best bet is to cut to the chase. And have what may be seemingly a confronting conversation, but we need to have those mature conversations. Let's call them a mature conversation. Because by at least having the conversation, it gets the topic, it gets the perception, it gets that innuendo, gossip, whatever is going on within your workplace, it gets it out in the open. And let's face it, every workplace has politics to a degree. And office politics will often tend to confuse and blow up the situation, make the situation worse. So it's much better to go directly to the person. Involve yourself directly with the person rather engage in the gossip that can potentially happen within workplaces. If you're in an office environment, you can always set up a meeting with a co-worker or a boss to talk things through. So otherwise, it may be as simple as just inviting someone out for a cup of coffee. So your first tip is don't let things heat up inside you. Don't start seeing things that aren't necessarily there. Go directly to the source and have a mature conversation. Now, often we know that work environments can be stressful, but I really want you to think about your calmness and where your energy should be within the workplace. When we have a sense of calm over who we are and what it is that we do, we're not wasting energy in anxiety, worry, or stress. So one of the key the second simple tip that I want to share is to stay calm, be calm, and know who you are and know your stance. So when you understand who you are and when you understand what makes you comfortable and what makes you confident, you know your stance, and that's fine. You should always endeavour to maintain who you are, maintain your stance, retain your calmness, and don't allow yourself to get heated if others may disagree or potentially perceive something as a personal attack, because something that they may say may not necessarily agree with the stance that you've taken on whatever the topic may be. Be confident in your own dealings, but have an understanding that sometimes what it is that you believe may not necessarily be replicated by other people. So acknowledging that and maintaining your calmness is another one that's a really good tip that enables the capacity for you not to let your emotions or feelings get out of control. Because when we overheat, when we look into it, when we start to take things personally, that's when we're draining our energy on things that aren't necessarily productive. So know who you are, know your stance, and be calm about it. I mean, not everyone's always going to agree with us, and we see that right around the world. Now, the last little tip is remember your why. And I know the concept of why and the concept of purpose gets spoken about so often. And there's, in some respects, people may get a bit ambiguous about that. There may be some, may appear to be some contradictory messages. But at the end of the day, you're where you are for a reason. You're there working for someone, you're there running a business, you're there being a manager or a leader within a team for a reason. So you're not trying, in many cases, you're not trying to disrupt the structure or the ongoing success of the company. And it's really interesting. I do a lot of work with a lot of businesses when they're refining their business models, and we always start with the concept of why are you in business. And sometimes it's really hard to articulate why people are in business. Why am I doing what it is that I'm doing? And in all honesty, a lot of people, like a commercial cleaner or a pest controller, potentially what we're seeing there is not necessarily an overriding purpose to rid the world of every pest that's known to mankind. Sometimes we're in business, sometimes we're in work because it pays the bills and it feeds my family. And that can be just as strong a why as anything else. So I want you to remember your why. And I want you to remember why you're doing what it is that you're doing. In many cases, we're not setting out to disrupt or stymie the success of any sort of business or any sort of system or any sort of structure. We're there to do our role, to play our part, and in some cases, to earn a living, pay our bills, and feed our family. You have a reason for being there. And that reason and that why is just as valid as that person that's wanting to rid the world of hunger, or you see some of these higher causes and you see some of these higher purposes. And sometimes as humans, we tend to think that their purpose is greater than ours. Your purpose, feeding your family, paying the bills, having a roof over your head, is just as valid and is just as strong. Your job is important, your career is important, so try to remember that whenever you feel your emotions or your feelings at work. And make the right choice, the right response to honour that purpose, to honour that why. if it means talking it through, if it means listening, if it means being incredibly respectful to someone who may not necessarily be showing respect back, if it maintains your why and if it maintains your purpose, that's a reason enough to be doing that. So those three strategies, go directly to the source if you feel that there's something untoward or if you're building up a perception. Be calm and know your stance, know your authentic you, and know and be confident in your beliefs, even though others may strenuously deny them or dismiss them. And the last one is to remember your why. And when we start the process of controlling or feeling that we're regulating our emotions and feelings at work, they're a really good way to start. Now, of course, there's many, many more. There's many, many more strategies, but I feel that those three are the foundations for future success, so that you can acknowledge your emotions, you can acknowledge your feelings, and it removes us from that robotic thought process that so many people just want us to be. Mundane routine. I know that's not you. I know that you're a living, breathing human being, and you've got emotions and you've got feelings, and let's acknowledge them, but let's find a way to strategize so that they're not going to be a negative impact for you. Remember, every situation you face is going to be unique and every situation is going to be different. So take some time to think and reflect and respond in the appropriate way, not react. Now is the time for you to take control of your leadership growth, and especially in the disruptive nature in which we're trying to navigate the world in which we know. Our aim here at the Today's Leader podcast is to help you be the leader you need to be today. Now, if you're looking to build better leadership skills, check out the Today's Leader podcast at the website at todaysleader.com.au. We're on episode 291, so we have a huge range of leadership topics and leadership experts that we've spoken to in the podcast that will give you some real impetus for growth in your leadership career. Our website also showcases our magazine, and it showcases our masterminds. Our masterminds are, of course, brought to you by our sponsor in Think and Grow Business. They host our leadership masterminds to Think and Grow Business, where the focus is certainly on personal, professional, and business growth. If you wish, please book in for a 30-minute discovery call right from the homepage at thinkandgrowbusiness.com.au. And at the moment, Think and Grow Business are offering a free 17-page assessment on your pandemic resilience, which is a fantastic tool for you to be able to map out where you are right now and give you advice and tips on how to continue to maintain momentum as we drive out of this pandemic. The Coach Curl Academy will be going into hiatus for a month or so as we rejig the Coach Curl Academy. So for all those people who are part of the Academy, of course your memberships will all be honoured. You'll still be able to maintain access during our hiatus, but we are looking at the structure and how we can make that, the Coach Curl Academy, a much more user-friendly place to go to for your growth and your career development. Today's Leader is a collective mindset. It's for the leaders and the entrepreneurs for today, and we're hoping that we're developing better leaders today who are going to forge the path of success for tomorrow. Don't forget, you are standing stronger, you are braver, you are wiser. Don't forget the golden rule. Don't be an arsehole. I'll see you all again next week. Bye for now.